Chat, how y'all doing? Welcome to This Week is Stupid for the 14th of March, 2022. I hope you had a good weekend because I'm going to make it even better. We're going to get right into the news. Magical Japanese boulder that's imprisoned a demon for 1,000 years has mysteriously cracked open and people are spooked. So I want you to imagine what we're actually talking about. A myth, a legend, which has been passed on through thousands of years, and people have actually identified the rock. They wake up one morning and the rock is cracked. Do you know what was inside it? Like, it sounds bad, but when you actually start reading it, it gets a little bit interesting. According to the legend, the stone is actually the transformed dead body of a beautiful woman. Mamacita, who was found to be a nine-tailed fox and was plotting to kill the Emperor Kanone and claim the throne. Oh my god, I'm traveling to Japan. I can fix her! I can fix her! Chat, listen to me. I can fix her. You don't need a Buddhist monk. Apparently a Buddhist monk is the one who exorcised the stone and then made it safe. I have a different ways of fixing her, chat. I think she just needs love and cuddles. She's the QB. The QB. I can fix her, chat. Why are you not letting me fix her? Just let me stop holding me. Do not take me to the madhouse. I can fix her.
Law enforcement, and this is one of those things, law enforcement, they have to keep these people safe, and then you can see it right there, the suspect trying to get into somebody's property or still trying to hide, but doing a very, very poor job of it right there. LAPD coming to a stop. Oh, come on, guys, he's right there. The officer's running right by him. They're going right by him. Angie, our pilot today, talking on O2, trying to tell the officers that this suspect is right there, and again, you just saw that. Oh my goodness, I just feel so bad for those officers making their way back now. It's the blue car. There we go. Somebody's getting the information. Somebody's got to be getting the information. Keep coming around, Ange. Keep coming around. Keep coming around. That suspect, unbelievable. We're watching this live, and you have to understand that these officers, they don't know what the information that we know. But again, that LAPD helicopter just arriving. There you go. Some of those officers must be getting that information. There you go. There you go. And now that suspect going into custody. Wow. Wow. And they haven't seen...
Can someone figure out who that guy is? Because I really want him on my Counter-Strike team. I mean, his camping game is spot on. Absolute maniac. Imagine how much money it costed the police to run after him, considering how expensive gas is now. If you don't know how expensive gas is in the United States, I would like to say that it has reached unthinkable levels. Because a couple of years ago, there was this movie, I Am Legend, and the director of the movie, he thought, okay, let's have some really high gas prices. I mean, it's the end of the world, so let's go really high to scare the audience. Like, this is how bad things are going to get. And I gotta say, they lowballed it by quite a huge margin. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Isn't this something that you would want? Like, you want the gas prices from the I Am Legend apocalypse. You want to go back to those times. But apparently, some people are finding out interesting solutions to go around the gas prices.
Queuing for petrol. Queuing for petrol. Queuing for petrol. But I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse. I don't need petrol, cause he runs on carrots. He runs on carrots. He runs on carrots. I don't need petrol, cause I'm on a horse.
My god, what a brilliant idea. Yeah, we can avoid the gas price if we all ride horses, because horses run on carrots. And carrots just spring from the ether, don't they? I mean, the tractors that plow the fields, they run on electricity. Just like the trucks that carry the carrots from the field all the way to the market. Everything is electrical, and electricity is from Zeus. It comes from Thor. It's that thing that goes through the walls. And it's 100% from solar, okay? Like, no electricity is ever made from anything else. Brilliant. This way of thinking. So, yeah, lettuce, from what I understand, is now $10. We're supposed to go vegan. Stop being poor, you bigot. And as the price of food goes up, so does the scarcity, to the point where we have a very smart American politician tell us of the future that is to come.
Refugees around the world. If you think migration has been a problem in Europe from the Syrian war, or even from what we see now, wait till you see 100 million people for whom the entire food production capacity has collapsed.
So yes, because most of the food that gets sent to Africa comes from Ukraine and Russia, which, well, I guess the Ukrainians aren't farming that much right now, and Russia is under an embargo. There's going to be a migration of hungry people coming from Africa to Europe. The problem is that Europeans might actually eat them, so we might actually get food, because I don't know how people are going to afford food here either. This is not going to be like when Europe is prosperous and everything. No, like, we will have food shortages here as well. So, yeah, there's that. But it's fine, you know, you can just buy an electric car. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then look here, you bigot. Joe Biden, the oil companies and the executive, they don't want to pump more oil. Although they have every capacity to do so, nothing is slowing them up. Oh yes, those evil, evil corporations that just don't want to pump. You know, he comes with the Green New Deal, with the beautiful green agenda where fracking is now problematic, the Keystone Pipeline is problematic, making oil incredibly scarce, because I guess like his entire cabinet is made of people that think oil should be illegal. And now that it's hurting the poor people, right? Because the rich people aren't really that hurt yet, especially not the middle class. And you have comedians going on late night shows and say, hey, just buy a Tesla. Because that's their target audience, is the people that can afford a Tesla. You know, like, stop being poor. Because if you're poor, the Democrats and their comedians have given up on you. They're not even going to try. It's like, oh, well, you're poor. What can you do? You know, we care only about the prestigious people, the middle class, which apparently now can afford a Tesla. And this is why you get to see people here. It's like, just buy an electric car. Just buy an electric car, you bigot. Just stop being poor. The understanding of how the world works for the average American is astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. And it seems that corporations are capitulating on the American intelligence level. Like, for example, Tampa International Airport. Gas prices are high. You should fly instead. Now, of course, they deleted the shame after people wondered, do planes fly on magic? Does a giant pick up the plane and throw it really hard? How is this a thing? Like, we're not talking about advanced geopolitical concepts, which we're going to get to in a bit. But, like, it's the very basics of how an economy is supposed to run. Usually, I'm not preachy in This Week is Stupid. Don't judge me, chat. I'm being sarcastic. But when lettuce is at $10, I'm starting to get a little bit upset. Especially as I'm trying to go on a diet and I have to eat vegetables. But you know what? Maybe the Biden administration does have an answer on how to fix the gas prices. Maybe I'm just being a doomer. Maybe there are smart people out there who are thinking out ways in order to ease the cost of living.
Under President Biden and Vice President Harris's leadership, we're pressing the accelerator to reach a zero emissions future sooner than most people thought. EPA's two announcements today are about seizing the opportunity that technology presents and driving towards a cleaner, healthier, more just future for all of our children. The first of these is EPA's Clean Truck proposal. 72 million people are estimated to live near truck freight routes in America, and they're more likely people of color and those with lower income. Those overburdened communities are directly exposed to pollution that leads to respiratory and cardiovascular problems among other serious and costly health effects. As directed by President Biden's executive order, EPA is proposing new, ambitious standards to significantly reduce emissions from smog and soot-forming nitrogen oxides from heavy-duty gasoline and diesel engines used on the nation's roads and highways. This will ensure that the portions of the heavy-duty fleet that continue to rely on the internal combustion engine during the transition to cleaner alternatives will deliver much-needed protections to our most vulnerable community.
Let me write a dictionary from government speak to normal speak. So we got temporary measure, means permanent. I swear to God, there's nothing more permanent on planet Earth than a temporary government measure. And then we got ambitious, means it will bankrupt and enslave you. So when the government comes, we have an ambitious plan. Okay, it's going to burn your wallet. Like it's going. We got PR or politician smiling at the camera. It's going to be bad for you. PR or politician angry at the camera. It's going to be bad for them, usually at the polls, public opinion, it hurts their paycheck, they might not get some money that they were promised. Conspiracy theory, it will take around 6 months until it becomes news. And in the video that we just watched, we noticed that the politician or the PR person was smiling at the camera. So it's going to be very bad for us. And he also used the word ambitious, which means that it's going to burn our wallet. Excellent. But let me just translate to you what he actually said. He said that he wants to make sure that trucks, you know, the things that carry food, the things that guarantee you don't have supply shortages, that they are not going to pollute as much, which means that there's going to be another shortage of truckers because the older trucks that are in circulation right now are going to be taken off circulation. So that means less trucks. That means that the price for carrying goods is going to increase further. See, it's ambitious. It's going to burn your wallet. But I suppose maybe it won't matter, you know, because if we have shortages of everything, because people can't afford the gas to harvest as much wheat and harvest as much corn, there's going to be less to carry around. So maybe at the end it's going to balance in some way or another. But while we're waiting for the gas prices to the moon and having politicians explain to us that the oil companies just don't want to drill more, they just don't want to make money for some reason, let's talk about the conflict. Yes, everyone talks about the conflict in Ukraine, and some people still don't understand what the conflict is about because it's somewhere far away. And I have found a gentleman that will be able to explain it to you far better than the Vice President of the United States managed to explain it yesterday.
Around the table and quickly realized that these gays have no idea what's going on. So I'm like, how can I explain this to them in a way that they'll understand? So here it is. Ukraine is a submissive bottom. Russia is a dom top. They have been in a complicated relationship with each other for a long time until Ukraine decided that she wanted to be a strong, independent woman, and she left Russia behind in 1991. Okay, that was 30 years ago. Since then, she is doing everything that she can to better herself and be independent, and is trying to join and really wants to be a part of the plastics, right? So the plastics being NATO. Now, not anybody can just join the plastics. I mean, you can't just sit with us. You actually have to go through a lot, and all countries have to unanimously decide that they want to allow Ukraine to join NATO, which they have been trying to do, and I think they're actually supposed to join in 2024. But Russia knows what is happening. So they're like, bitch, you can't leave me and then go join this group and live out your life. Like, I want you back. So that is why the war started, right? So what's going on in the United States and why is our gas prices so high? Well, the only thing that we can really do without actually stepping foot on Russian soil is to put sanctions against them, because we don't feel like they should be making profit and money off of us, while they're invading Ukraine. Now, that has led to the increase in gas prices. Now, we only get like 8% of our oil and natural gas from Russia, which doesn't seem like a lot, but 8 to 10 inches is a pretty good amount. So yes, that is going to lead to the increase in gas prices by about 50%, 50 cents per gallon. But I'm okay with that. Like, I'm over here chilling. I'm like, I'll pay a little bit more for gas. I'll pay a little bit more for my unlimited mimosas than have rockets blasting through our apartments and people dying in the middle of a world war. I mean, let's think about that for a minute. Now, we're doing everything that we can to help them, but this complicated relationship is really between Russia and Ukraine. Like, other countries have sent military support and over into Ukraine.
I guess that's good enough for the average American to understand geopolitics. But I think I can do a better explanation. Look, I know that in the America, the wisest of the wise, the people from the academia, the intellectual elite, they talk about whiteness, as a blanket. It's like white people, they all look the same. Meanwhile, in Europe, things are more like this.
Good morning, my neighbors! Hey, fuck you! Yes! Yes! Fuck you!
But wait, V, I hear you say. Why do you keep blaming Americans? Like, not all Americans are at that level. Like, Americans are very smart people. Look, I'm pretty sure they are, but I'm looking at certain polls and the mind boggles. Like, look at this. 28% of Americans who say enforcing a no-fly zone over Ukraine is a good idea also say that they oppose shooting down Russian military planes. How the do these people vote? They vote, don't they? So, in case you don't understand, like, what is a no-fly zone? It's World War III, pretty much. Like, it implies attacking Russian military planes, so you're going to war with Russia. Now, going to war with Russia means nuclear war. It's what the Americans tried to avoid during the Cold War, right? Because in the nuclear war, no one wins. Everyone loses. Humanity loses. It's over. And we try to avoid doing that. Now, if we're pressured into doing it, like, say, Russia attacks a NATO country, then you don't have any other option. But until that moment comes, it is preferable if we can avoid it. So there are a couple of Americans that are a little bit more brave than the rest of humanity, and they're like, no, go after their planes. And I thought it's like, okay, so, like they are very confident about winning the nuclear exchange, I suppose. I mean, maybe. But no, they're just stupid. At least 28% of them. It's like, we want a no-fly zone, but don't shoot down Russian planes. So how do you want to prevent them? By magic? By passing legislation, is that it? It's like you pass legislation and you make it illegal for Russian planes to fly? Like how? I would really love to speak with at least one of these 28%ers to describe to me what they think is going to happen. Is it magic? Is it jutsu? Is it praying to God? And yes, by the way, God did play a part into this. Apparently, the more faithful of the American, the level 20 cleric, is now holding a speech on geopolitics.
It's the blood of Jesus that's going to cure them. I came this morning to tell someone that the blood is fighting on your behalf, and the blood of Jesus still has power today. The blood of Jesus is powerful today. The enemy? Come on, Putin, get your life together before it's too late. Come on, Putin, surrender to God. You don't own this earth. They're not your people. They're God's people. Listen, let me tell you something. There's no enemy on this earth that is bigger than God. And listen, what's your responsibility?
Unironically, I have way more respect for that man than those 28%ers. Or the following witches. Here are 5 TikTok dances you can do to help Ukraine fight Russia. Ow, I hit my head too hard. At least it snapped me out of it. Holy fucking shit. Is this like a war dance? Don't you have to perform it close to the battlefield though, in order to be effective? Like when you do the haka, the purpose is to intimidate the enemy. And it's on the news, by the way. Like, people are taking this like it's a this is what bothers me the most out of all of this. Again, the war is literally across the border from my country. I could take a car and I could be there in less than an hour. And you see people from across the world treating it like it's a soccer game. But not only that, they're the good people. Like, they're the people you're supposed to, oh, you're such a good human. You're helping. My God, it would be sadistic if I were to carry out this plan. But, like I'm so tempted at this point. I am so tempted. So there are Ukrainian refugees that are coming into my town. And they're desperate people. I did my best to help a couple as much as I could. I donated some blankets because it said on television that they need more blankets. I did my best in order to help these people. But I am tempted to just take my smartphone and show these people what the Americans are doing to quote-unquote help and ask them what they think about it. The only reason I'm not doing it is because those people have actual concerns. And they're actually devastated because of the conflict. And the last thing they probably need is a twat like me with a smartphone asking them dumb questions. But my God, it's getting harder by the day to stay inside. It's getting harder by the day to not just take a compilation of what is happening on the social media in the United States, show it to them, and ask for their opinion. Preparing for evacuees from besieged town near Kiev. Many sandwiches. So, like, people are doing their best in order to help the Ukrainian refugees. And by the way, there's many stories from them in my country. Like, for example, there was a friend of mine who actually received a family of Ukrainians into his house. It was 5 of them. And they woke up and they tidied his entire house. Mopped the floors, washed the windows, made the beds, and then left a thank you note before leaving. Now, I'm not saying every single refugee is like that, but at least from what I hear, they're incredibly good people. And because of that, everyone is trying to help them out. So you have people donating food, like they're having sandwiches and whatever. How many animals got murdered for these meals? At least one. If you want to know. At least one, I would say. Probably more, but I can say with certainty, at least one. Got any more dumb questions? And, I guess, it's a vegan. Yeah, I understand. It's what they do. Vegans gonna veganism. That's fine. There are no vegans in a war zone. I just want to point that out. Like, I know people who are stuck in Ukraine right now, and in some cases, there's no electricity, there's no water. They can't go out to do shopping and groceries like usual. Shelves are empty. It's bad. It's really bad. And you don't know how good you have it in the West because you can choose to be vegan. Not to mention, $10 is the lettuce. Did you notice that? $10 the lettuce? It's actually more cheap now to buy processed unhealthy meats than it is to have a salad. I know that a lot of vegans are bourgeois and they can afford the vegan diet. Let's see if they can still do it by the end of the year. If they can still do it by the end of the year, I'll congratulate them personally. But, again, like, it's this television way of looking at this conflict as if it's a comic book. And it's so cringe when they post this. Look at it. Just look at it. Right? So I guess you have Zelensky. The person who made this has absolutely no fucking idea how a Ukrainian soldier is supposed to look like. They're not fighting in the Middle East. It's winter. It's snow. Why don't you put white camo on it? I mean, do the job properly if you're going to do it. And then you have the doctor. Oh my god. It's not a doctor, is it? It's a nurse. Yes, it's a nurse. Oh. And everyone is bowing, yes. You know what? Like, at this point, we know it's coming. You know it's coming. I know it's coming. Everyone knows it's coming. Let's just get it over with. Ukrainian conflict Netflix adaptation with President Zelensky in theaters this summer. It's going to happen. Mark my words. It's just a matter of time. It's not a if, it's a when. Like, we know it's going to happen. And it's going to be Americanized as fuck. Like, none of the people who's going to make it will ever talk with an Ukrainian in their entire life. No one is actually going to go there to see how it was. No. It's going to be as Hollywoodian as possible, with explosions, with helicopters going. Oh, I can't do this anymore. I just can't, you know. And when I look at the news, it just gets worse. Like, for example, did you know that now Croatia is under attack?
Maybe that the Russian people and Russian politicians might wish in the end to have a negotiated settlement. I mean, one of the things that Putin has got wrong is he seemed to think that his tanks could roll in to Croatia.
Oh my god. Oh, Croatia. Fucking Croatia. Oh. Have you told the Croatian people? Because I don't think they found out yet. Oh my god. These are our leaders, yes? These are the people we seek wisdom from. And they protect us against fake news and misinformation. It's going to be an interesting year. You know, last year, it was a doozy. But this one, it's getting up to be more interesting. What can I say? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. As usual, I'll be live streaming after this. There's a link into the pinned comment. Hopefully I'll cheer myself up a little bit by then, because I'm making This Week is Stupid with a day in advance, so I'll have time to calm myself down. Breathe in, breathe out, as they say, so that I can be cheerful on the stream yet again. And I'll see you guys there. Oh, Dios mío. Croatia. Croatia.